Hi people, welcome back to the channel. It's me again, Somi. If this is your first time, thank you so much for clicking and I hope you consider subscribing to the channel. So yeah, today's video is me listening to the masses. I've been seeing your comments on the last video that I filmed with Tife. If you haven't watched that video, click up here to go watch it. You don't want to miss that. Of course, in the video we spoke about how Tife made $24,000 in 4 months. It's achievable, guys. Like, people are achieving their dreams, okay? And from that video, you know that she works in the healthcare sector. So this video, I'm gonna show you guys how to secure a healthcare job, because I see comments like there's a lot of misconception that okay, you have to have a science background, you have to have come from a medical background or something like that. No, you don't have to be a nurse or a doctor or anything like that to work in the healthcare sector. Healthcare sector varies. There's several aspects of it: social work, mental health, right? So you, without a science background, can secure a healthcare job and make money like Tife, okay, and several other people that I know of, right? So this video is going to help you secure a healthcare job. Keep on watching. Oh come, Emmanuel. Okay people, let's get right into it, okay? The very first thing you need to do or get is a first aid certificate. Now, there is no healthcare job, there is no mental health work, there is no healthcare sector job that you will work without this certificate. Like it's the first thing, because it's health, right? You're helping people in one way, one shape, one form or the other. So you need to know how to do like emergency first aid. If you have a client that needs your help, you should be able to render some first aid. So you need a first aid certificate. There's no skipping this one. And to be fair, it's so easy to get. Like, it's not hard at all. Literally an 8-hour class, you do a test and boom, you have a little tiny certificate. It's not hard. Now there's a cost to it, of course, because you need to have the certificate before getting the job, right? So when I did mine, I think I paid about $100 or $110 if I'm not mistaken. It's a one-time payment. The certificate lasts you for 3 years, so it's absolutely worth it. And most organizations, when yours expires, they pay for you to get it renewed, right? So I've met some people that be like, it's expensive, let me start the job first before I get my first aid. I'm like, first of all, I don't think it's that expensive, and for the amount you stand to gain, like, you know, the hourly rate you stand to gain from getting that certificate is absolutely worth it. So if you're absolutely sure that healthcare is what you want to get into, you need to get yourself a first aid certificate. Just close your eyes, pay. I don't know what the amount is right now in the market, but it definitely ranges from $90 to about $150, depends. Each province is different. You know, most province would like you to have certificate from their province. So just research and make sure that you get the right certificate. But there are several agencies. Just Google where to get first aid certificate in my city and you see several Google options, because what I have in my city, you might not have in your city. So there's no point in me recommending, right? So yeah, super easy to get. 8 hours, literally. You go there from 8:30 in the morning to 4:30 p.m. You write a mini test, like 20 questions, which is it's not hard. You get your certificate and then you're good to go. Now, the second thing you need to get is also a certificate. Now, this one is not as compulsory as a first aid certificate, but it's a good boost. It's a good booster certificate to have. It's called the Food Safe Handling Certificate. Now, why do you need this? You need this because in a lot of healthcare sector work, meals are involved, food is involved. There are some jobs that you might make the meal yourself, like when I say make meal, you're not going to cook a goosey soup or anything. Like maybe you're making a sandwich or a soup or something, right? So some sort of meal is involved. You're either making or you're serving. Maybe there's a chef on site, chef cooks, and then you're serving. So because there's some sort of food involved in healthcare, they need to know that you know food safe handling techniques, right? Like when I actually did a food safe course, and the things I learned were like the temperature you need to boil certain things to, like how to preserve, when you need to take food out of the fridge. Like literally, I think after 2 to 3 days you need to toss food out of the fridge. It's not like, coming from a Nigerian home where you cook a bulk of food, you put it in the fridge, and then you're eating it throughout the week. Like there are loads of things you learn when you do a food safe handling course. So they need you to be able to put those things into practice. So it's a good certificate to have. It's a good booster certificate, right? So, and let me say this again, this is a video for people who are sure that the healthcare sector is where they want to, is what they want to do, right? It's the kind of part-time job they want to have as students, because these certificates cost money. You don't want to do it and then you don't use it, right? Maybe you go and end up working at Walmart. If you're not sure you want to work in healthcare, then you might not want to start investing into these certificates. But if you're sure you want to, then absolutely get the food safe handling certificate. It's a good booster. Imagine writing your cover letter when you're applying for work and you say, I have first aid, I also have food safe certificate. Like it's a good booster certificate to have. So yeah, if you can, definitely get this. The price is the same with the first aid, between 90 150. I think 150 is honestly pushing it. I'm just giving that max because I don't know what other provinces charge, right? But you're usually seeing around $100 typically for these certificates, some 90, some 110, 120 tops. I'm just going to give it a range of 90 to 150 just in case. So yeah, food safe handling certificate, it's a good certificate to have, because the employer will be sure and trust you that you can handle clients when it comes to the food aspect of things. Okay guys, so the third thing you want to have is a driver's license and or a car. So don't run away yet. I know you might be thinking, yo, I just got to Canada, or I'm just arriving, like how am I supposed to get a car now? I don't have the money and stuff like that. Calm down. Okay, not all organizations particularly require you to have a car. They would, however, prefer that you have a car, but it's not always compulsory with most employers. They would prefer it. Like it's a good booster. Like they ask, do you have a reliable vehicle, right? Some of them would ask that. A reliable means of transportation, because a lot of them don't want you relying on the public transportation, because that's unreliable. Because when you have your own car, you can get to shifts on time most of the time, and maybe if there is like an out of town work, maybe they can recommend you for out of town jobs because you have a car, right? But it's not always compulsory. However, a driver's license is crucial. Okay, it's very, very crucial, because most companies would have on-site vehicles that you can drive. Okay, because take for example, your client has an emergency, like you should be able to at least drive them to the hospital, right? Well, you can always call 911 actually, but vehicles are usually for like appointments. Maybe they have a doctor's appointment or a counselor's appointment or something, or even if they just want to go out for fun and you're there, right? So like that's why it's usually part of your duties to drive your clients to certain places. So sometimes they might even want to go for drives depending on the health sector that you work. By the way, if you guys want me to film a video on like the types of healthcare sector jobs that you can work or apply to as an international student, let me know and I will do that. So yeah, you should be able to drive your clients to back and forth, right? So yeah, a driver's license is very crucial. So if you're arriving, try to get your driver's license for BC. BC is such a good province in that aspect, because you can use, at least for Nigeria and other countries, you can use your foreign license as long as you're a student. For as long as you're a student, you can use your foreign license. So yeah, driver's license. So the next thing on the list is have a clean record. Okay, so what I mean by that is having a clean criminal record, because a lot of these organizations are going to run background checks on you. Yeah, they might even also get you to do a police clearance test, right? They do this because you're working with vulnerable people of the vulnerable population, right? So how can they trust you if you have a criminal record that relates to people of the vulnerable population? You get what I mean? So now this is a whole other topic on its own, but if your crime has to do with fraud, for example, your fraud crime shouldn't really affect you working with the vulnerable people. It's a whole discrimination thing, right? That's a different topic, but typically just have a clean record. Okay, so I know for a lot of people who are new to Canada, you don't have a lot of history in Canada for them to use or to test your criminal record, right? So a lot of organizations would ask you for a police clearance from the country you were living in, right? Which is why you know that the police clearance, I know for Nigerians to apply to come to Canada, you do a police clearance. That police clearance that you do, don't lose it. Have a copy of it, whether it's a physical or digital copy of it. Have a copy. I know it expires after 3 months, but I've used that stuff. It's been almost 2 years I've been in Canada now, and I've used that thing several times. Okay, so don't worry about the expiry date. As long as you have it, it comes in handy. Have that on you. Some would even ask you for a police clearance from every country you have lived in. Okay, so for me, for example, I'm so glad I did this. You guys know that I lived in Ukraine for about 5 years, so I made sure to get a police clearance before leaving Ukraine, so I have that on me. So imagine me needing it now, and with the whole thing going on in Ukraine, how would I even get it? So I'm glad that I have a police clearance from Ukraine. I have one from Nigeria. A lot of you guys don't know this, but I lived in the UK, but I don't typically say that I live in the UK, so I don't get asked a lot of the time to get a police clearance from the UK. But I do have a friend who just arrived and he had to get a police clearance from UK. So get ready to get a police clearance from other countries that you've lived in. Mostly the one that you lived in the longest, they would need you to get a police clearance from that country. So yeah, having a clean record is important because you're working with people that are vulnerable. And the final most obvious tip is apply. Network with people. Ask people. Don't hold your tongue. Talk to people. Hey, where's the happening place in town? Which organization pays well in this place? Where should I apply? And that was how my mic just turned off. I'm sorry about that, guys. But I was just saying, apply on Indeed and several workplaces. Network with people as well. Do not hold your tongue. Talk to people. Ask people, because the more people you talk to, the more opportunities you're able to figure out and find, and more open doors, right? So apply and network. Just do not give up. Keep applying, and then you would end up finding some good opportunities in the healthcare sector. So thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know if you enjoyed the video and what more you would like to see from me. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year to everybody, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Mwah.